Today we're taking a look at the Schlieffen, one of the most interesting battleships at tier 10. More of a battle cruiser, certainly, and very focused on secondaries. The massive strength of those secondaries is pretty obvious, but I think the most important thing about the Schlieffen is its concealment and its ability to play hit and run style tactics. This ship has overwhelming close-range firepower, but it doesn't have the HP pool of tier 10 battleships, and it certainly doesn't have some of the armor as well. We're also lacking in a heal, but we do get some extremely fast damage controls with, admittedly, a limit of only 5 of them. This ship is very different to play than something like a Preußen, which is the more traditional German battleship, let's say. I got very lucky in this game to spawn on this side of the map, since we really want to be playing around islands in a brawling battleship, allowing us to limit incoming firing angles and try and take as many 1v1s as possible. At close range, there's not a lot that can beat a Schlieffen in a 1v1, and by close range I'm meaning within secondary range pretty much. And it's very easy to get into these secondary ranges since the concealment is so good. If you're getting spotted, something is within your secondary range. It might be a destroyer that's, not able to be seen at the moment, but we know that we can get some use out of these secondaries. So I'm, of course, going for a full secondary build here. And I was shocked this game, actually, to see how those secondaries were firing over those gigantic islands. I still don't really understand the AI behind secondaries. They underlead, they miss small targets all the time. If somebody's kiting away, they're way less effective than somebody pushing in. And they don't fire over little sandbars, and sometimes they fire over mountains. I don't quite get it, but they're fun to use. And brawling at close range is one of the main reasons I actually started playing this game all those years ago in 2015. Having this close range brawling action-packed experience is a lot of fun, and the Schlieffen certainly embodies that. But we're turning around, obviously. Look at the map, right? We have so many enemy ships pushing in that we gotta get out of here. This is not at all feasible to stay with, but I do want to stay long enough to get some secondary damage and, more importantly, torp this corner. This is something that is so valuable out of the Schlieffen as well in a kiting role. I think this is the absolute strongest position I could possibly be in a Schlieffen. I can't think of a better situation for the Schlieffen. Kiting an enemy force around islands where they're pushing pretty much one by one into me. That is the dream scenario, and we're going to see just how strong this ship is. We already have 50k damage, which is pretty good, honestly. We've been doing some sniping a bit, and it's worked out reasonably well so far, but oh, 3 torpedo hits? Yeah, we're nearly on 100k now. And there's more torps on the way, but we know they have so many ships here that I can't stay. We're already losing quite a bit of our HP, but I'm not going to damage control this fire yet. I'm trying to get undetected. That's the goal here, is try and break contact and, well, heal up just a little bit. And that's what I'm going to do this entire game. I think this is the playstyle you have to learn in the Schlieffen, knowing when to run away, how to manage your HP using your concealment. This ship doesn't have 110k HP like some of the most tanky tier 10 battleships do, or 105k, I guess, in the Preußen and GK's case. It has half of that. Well, a little more. And it's not enough. It's really not enough to consistently weather the storm of 4, 5, 6 ships shooting at me. So we're going to go dark as quickly as possible. I'm not going to be shooting my guns if I can help it. I know I'm faster than these guys, and I know I can get away. So there's no point in keeping myself lit by shooting my guns here if I can get away. You'll notice we're undetected, just like that. Our secondaries have done some decent damage into these guys at range, and I'm okay with this start. This is a good, solid start. Over 100k damage. We've traded a ton of HP, though. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit because I wait my time here. I don't rush things at all here. We're going to do this a couple times of fast forwarding. I just wanted to include this instead of skipping over this boring part, just to show you how patient you might need to be in a ship like the Schlieffen. It's not something you can just full send into people all the time and expect it to go well. Waiting for torpedoes to come up, torping common gaps that people are going to go into, and the Salem gets spotted. And this is a really interesting position for that Salem to be in. If he goes bow in and just bow tanks us, I think he could have survived, honestly, because I do not have the HP to withstand the entire enemy team here shooting at me. But he decides to go broadside. We get a nice solid hit in on him, and our secondaries are going to tear him up. And you'll notice that we're being spotted exclusively by the Salem as well. So as soon as this Salem dies or goes behind an island, we can go dark again. And I have to, because again, look at my health. It's not quite high enough. Yeah. But the Salem gets dev struck. Of course, the Schlieffen doesn't have the best guns, but they do get improved accuracy. The Battlecruiser dispersion formula, even if the Sigma is not amazing on them, the tendency for the shells to go to the center of where you're aiming, but the guns hurt, especially against broadside cruisers. And we managed to actually get away. Somehow, I really thought I would have been taken out there, but I didn't. And we get ourselves into our next heal. That is the kiting under pressure Schlieffen formula for success. We're winning this game pretty handily. You can see our team has taken over B and C cap, and all we have to do is really clean up the enemy team here and trade effectively. I am going to try and help take out this Bourgogne, and we in fact do manage to deal with him. I really was considering not shooting at him and just continuing to run away, since my team probably could have dealt with him, but I was hoping we could save our destroyer there just a little bit longer, but he ends up going down as well. So really not too much of a bad trade since we didn't lose too much HP. I just wanted to help my destroyer a little bit longer. And just look at how long I'm spending not firing here. I did a ton of work, a ton of damage early on, and now we're just waiting things out. We're in such a strong position here where the enemy team is forced to push broadside to us. If they want to win this game, they have to get into the B cap. So I'm waiting for them to go broadside and taking a shot of opportunity. I'm not trying to deal sustained damage here. I'm looking for good, solid alpha damage shots. Our dispersion doesn't really help us here, but it's really not too much of a risk since the enemy team appears to be focused on taking out our Napoli or maybe even our Yamato in the back. So I can do these kinds of things without too much risk. I'm not going to shoot again because I see the gearing torps are going to kill the Thunder. And it does. So this sort of smarter play, I guess, not just spamming all of our secondaries and main guns and torps and YOLOing in for all of the damage early on and dying very quickly. It's difficult to be restrained in a ship like the Schlieffen since it is so insane in a lot of these positions. But with a little bit of patience, passive play, trying to find good angles, good crossfires is, I think, the best way to play the Schlieffen, the most effective way at least. A lot of fun can be had by those full sends in with the Schlieffen, but I think the best results often happen when the ship is able to play a little bit more passive and take those targets of opportunity. I'm definitely looking for trades that happen in my favor, and I'm trying to use my speed and concealment to do that. Trying to take 1v1s as much as possible, or at least trying to take people out while they're distracted. And we come up actually second on this team, and that's because secondary damage has been nerfed in its base XP rewards. So a pretty solid game with, admittedly, some very lucky matchmaker. As for the build, like I mentioned, we are definitely going for a full secondary build. This even includes IFHE. This is how we're getting our smaller 105mm secondaries up to penning 32mm of armor, which is the most common battleship armor value at tier 10. And yeah, these secondaries are no joke. They're quite solid. And with this concealment, again, we're running mostly a concealment build as well. It's pretty gross having 12.6 detection and 12.5 secondary range. It's a lot of fun. But again, this ship can be a little bit weak in the armor department here, right? We can see 27mm, which is very easy to overmatch. There's a gigantic icebreaker though, so it's not too bad, but a reasonably large superstructure and some odd angles here for some of these casemate secondaries. There's some weird pens that happen along here, so don't think that this ship is the ultimate tanking beast, especially given the low HP pool. But honestly, it's a lot of fun to play, but into submarine CV games where there's a lot of passive sniping, it's not as fun. I certainly got the blessed matchmaker in this one, and I wanted to show it to you, but again, I don't want you to think that every single match is going to look like that. These are the upgrades I'm using. I think that you can use a lot of different things, honestly. You could even try to do more main gun focused things, but at that point, I would probably be playing a different battleship from a different country. The Schlieffen is a ton of fun, and honestly, it's worth grinding to get if you enjoy secondary battleships. It's not going to be great in the passive camping meta, but every once in a while, there's one of these games that pops up that is just so much fun and makes it all worth it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.